This is the plaintiff, Celia. She says her former landlord's a no-good bully who pushed her out of her apartment she was renting from her, and she's not going to allow her to break the law. That's right. She's suing her unscrupulous former landlord for the money she still owed for her unreturned security deposit, and fully expects the judge to award her the $1,850 she's seeking. This is the defendant, Carol. She says she purchased the building and told the plaintiff she was raising the rent because she was paying below market value. The plaintiff had a huge problem with the increase, and the confrontational woman chose to vacate. She shortchanged her $200 on the rent. She deducted it from the security deposit, and now the crazy lady's suing her for almost $2,000? Come on! She's accused of being a rotten landlord.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant kicked her out of her apartment and never got her security back. But the defendant says she bought the building and only raised the plaintiff's rent to the fair market value, and the plaintiff freaked. It's the case of your market value ain't fair.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Cecilia, you are suing Carol for $1,850.
Yes, ma'am.
In security deposit doubling because of a special statute in your state, because according to you, she's wrongfully withheld it.
Correct.
All right. So you have been living there for how long?
In that apartment for 2 years.
All right. And you are a new owner of the building?
Correct.
What day was the closing?
It was supposed to be at the end of May. It was delayed, and it was the beginning of June. I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact date.
You don't know the date of the closing?
Do you need that? I can look it up.
Yeah, while you look that up,
June
it
12th.
was June 12th. Does that
Yes.
sound right?
Okay.
Well, no, you look it up. And then it's your closing, I'm asking. I don't know why you know it. How do you know it?
Oh, because I was following it because there was so much commotion going on.
What was the commotion? She wanted to raise the rents.
She wanted to raise the rent.
Okay.
But I didn't know the house was up for sale to begin with. When I found out it was the end of May, when or the mid-May, when
Is this a house or an apartment building?
it's a three-family
Okay.
dwelling. The next thing I knew, I was getting calls from both Carol and a real estate agent. In the beginning of June, they were trying to hustle me into signing a lease.
Okay, did you have
They
a
didn't
lease?
own it. No, I didn't. I was month to month.
All right, so they didn't even own it yet, there was no closing, and they're trying to get you to sign a lease?
Correct.
Okay.
So that kind of made me a little leery of everything that was going on. So at the beginning, when she purchased the house, the rent was going up to, I believe, $1,400 from my $1,100 that I was paying. I said, you know, I couldn't do that. It's a very small
When does she
apartment.
tell you I want $1,400 in relation to when she finally owns it? When's the first time
this
that
isn't-
she owns it and tells you she wants $1,400?
No, this was before she owned it. Once she owned it, she had brought it down to $1,350.
Okay.
And then she came over to my apartment, and we talked about it, and she says, well, don't tell anybody, but I'm going to do it for $1,325.
Okay.
I said, well, in that case, I could think about, I'll think about staying. Next thing
So
I know,
then you
she's-
send her an email with some conditions. I want a dedicated parking space. I don't want to have to dig snow, shovel snow, and a couple of other requests. And
Correct.
what happens?
She responded and, gave me some place to throw my trash because I used to have to take it into my job. But I have a very bad back, and
So she didn't say I'll provide a service to remove snow.
To remove snow.
All right, so
they
you
do
decide
have
you don't want to
snow
stay. That's
blowers.
fine. You decide you don't want to stay there, and this is what, mid-June all this is going on?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, this is once the sale went through.
All right, so then in July you pay your rent,
Yes.
the $1,100 that you have been paying.
Correct.
Again, you were not under any lease at this point, right? You were on
No,
a
I
month
was
to
not.
month.
Correct.
All right, and then when it comes, you tell her, I'm sorry we couldn't come to terms. End of July will be my last day.
Yes.
All right, and you get out at the end of July,
Yes.
and then you return security deposit when?
The 1st of September.
1st of September. And her last day was July 30th.
31.
31. And why did you wait until the 1st of September?
I didn't have a forwarding address for her
When did you
until
get the forwarding address?
August 17th.
All right. Well, in any event, you deduct $200 from her security deposit. Based on what?
The rent went up. I bought the house, the rent went up.
I know, but there's rules about how you can bring rent up. Yes, you can buy the house. Yes, you can raise the rent. But you can't just say the rent will go up now. Like, you know, there's got to be some notice. So what kind of notice did you give her that, you know, she's on a month-to-month for sure. So what kind of notice did you give her then?
So in a month-to-month tenancy, how much notice does the landlord have to give before raising the rent?
Oh, at least a month. At least a month. If it's month to month, I think at least a month.
But is 30 days enough?
I think so.
What do you say?
Yeah, I agree. It's fair.
30 days seems
Yeah,
fair.
yeah.
Okay, going inside the courtroom.
I met with her at the end of May.
Oh, no, you don't own it at the end of May. And so meeting with her, to me, is irrelevant. When you finally do close, it's June 12th. So between the earliest you could have told her is you could have called her from the closing. I bought it, and your rent's going to go up. That would give her 2 weeks, right? Does that sound fair? Or
Yeah.
legal?
I met with her the day before the closing was supposed to happen. And I told her that I wanted a lease, that she was welcome to stay, and that what the new rent was going to be.
So? What do you mean? Are you kidding me? You don't even own the place, but you're asking me to call that notice. But I got to tell you, there's some, I'm not even sure that if you had owned the place by then, you'd be able to sue for the new rent because she never agreed to it. She might still, if you had gone to court and enough notice had been given, there's an argument to be made that, hey, she's a holdover under the old 1100, and that's what you get to sue for. I don't even need to get to all that. I'm gonna pretend that you would. There's a world where you are entitled to increased rent just by waving your wand and saying, I get increased rent. And in that world, at a minimum, you got to give the person notice, and you got to tell them, look, you got to get out. I'm not continuing your month to month. You can't tell somebody that in 15 days. That's not enough time. So she withheld $200, right?
Correct.
And you're now suing for what?
For the state of New Jersey, if it's not paid within the 30 days.
Except for that you did get $1,650.
I got that on the 9th of September.
You got that on the 9th of September. Okay, that's why you smiled when she said on the 1st of September. So show me the proof of when you got it. Do you have the envelope?
I have the envelope. It's not dated, but I do have the
How could
email.
the envelope not be dated?
I have the, I don't know. I checked, I magnified it.
You're giving him a picture of something. I want the something. The envelope itself? The envelope.
I don't have the envelope itself.
You took a picture of it but didn't bring me the envelope?
No.
Yeah, the envelope has a date on it. You just can't read it. It says September 6th.
Okay. I called her on the 6th and I said, where's my, security
Okay.
deposit? And she said, it's in the mail. I said, well, can you give me a
Okay,
tracking
well, it wasn't
number?
in the mail, unless she had just mailed it before your phone call, I guess, because you mailed it on the 6th, right? Why did you say you mailed it on the 1st when this is postmarked the 6th?
I put it in the mailbox. I don't know what happened to it.
For 6 days, it languished inside your mailbox. That's fascinating. Okay, are you new to being a landlord?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, what does New Jersey law say about how long a landlord has to give the security deposit back?
30 days.
Okay, did you miss the 30 days?
I put the check in the envelope
Do you
in the mail
possibly
on the
think
1st.
that I'm going to buy that when it's postmarked on the 6th, or that the law would buy that? Like, I don't care what your intent was.
Okay.
I care what you did. So you didn't give her a penny back. This is so silly because really, this was over you wanting to get $200. You know what the position you have put me in now? Because what's going to happen now, you belong to one of the states that wants to spank the landlord, and they double the wrongfully withheld amount. So step one is you return nothing in 30 days as you're required to do, and you know you're required to do it. And step two, you could have if you had just sent the whole check, she would have gone away, but you didn't. You wanted to take $200 out of it that you didn't have a right to take, and now where do you find yourself? She is suing you for double the security deposit.
May I?
Yes, but you understand what I'm saying,
I do
right?
understand,
Because
Your Honor.
in your state, when your side, New Jersey, when your side does not give an adequate, does not return the money with an itemized list within the amount of time prescribed, she's already starting out of the gate with double the amount. Let's see what you're suing for. Yeah, exactly. She's suing exactly to what she's entitled to. First, you double the $1,650, okay? then you deduct from it the $1,450 she did get, and then you owe the rest. So my verdict in this case is for the plaintiff in the amount of the full $1,850. You get your double remedy.
So the defendant gets hit with a big penalty here, and you end up paying twice what you should have, she normally would have gotten. What are you thinking now?
I'm just glad she doesn't live in my house anymore.
Why? Because she did what's right?
No, because she was a difficult tenant. And if this satisfies it, then that's great.
So did you learn anything from this experience?
Write everything down, make sure I follow the letter of the law exactly, and when all the other tenants complain, listen to them. There's something there.
Okay. Well, then you've learned something. Thank you
you,
very
sir,
much.
ma'am.
Okay. Very good.
Pleasure to meet you,
All righty.
sir.
Thank you so much. Now here comes Cecilia, the smart plaintiff. How'd you know this? Did you look up the law?
I looked up a lot. My son helped me look up a lot. I wasn't going to let it slide like that. She was bullying me from the time she came in. I'm not the first tenant that's moved out because of her actions. People's Court did it for me.
Feel better now?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're going to go celebrate, right?
There's the principle to it. Yes,
You're
we
good.
are.
You're very good. All right. Thank you for your help. Okay, very
Thank you
good.
very
Thank
much.
you, folks. Okay. Harvey?
Doug, when we talk about a month-to-month tenancy, 30 days is the key. The tenant has to give 30 days notice to move out. The landlord has to give 30 days notice to raise rent.